I'm Guy Eastman, your host, and this is Eastmans Hunting TV. On this week's show, we're going to pick up where we left off last week in the high country of Central Asia. Last week, Ike was able to take a big Siberian Ibex, and this week, I'm hoping it's my turn. So let's not waste any time. Let's get back to Ibex hunting in the Altai Mountains of Central Mongolia. After catching a few short hours of sleep, it was time to get our gear together and load the jeeps for the first morning of the hunt.
It begins with a legendary pioneer in wildlife filming. Wilderness, adventure, and fair chase trophies define him. A son adds to the legacy and becomes the voice for a generation of hunters. Today, the third generation pursues trophy big game in places where success comes from skill, determination, and grit. Now, 60 years of hunting tradition comes down to one defining moment.
We're the Eastmans. We've been filming and hunting for over 60 years and 3 generations, and these are just a few of our adventures.
This is Eastmans Hunting TV. It's big game hunting, and it's as real as it gets.
When we finally reached our destination, just after sunrise, it wasn't long before we were looking at our first band of Ibex.
See him? There's a bunch of them. Yeah. An Ibex over 40 inches is like a 30-inch mule deer, so there's the two in the back are right at 40, maybe more. One of them's real dark horned and the other one's light horned and real wide. So we kind of bumped them because they were up here feeding this morning, and they smelled us when we came up over the top. I think there's about 15 to 20 Ibex in that bunch. They're all males, they're all billies, so hopefully there's a big one in there. Now that the sun's up, they're headed to the rocks to bed down for the day. So we're gonna get out, probably out on this vantage point, if I had to guess, and get where we can glass him with a spot and scope and judge him up, see if he's worth going after.
We watched things over for about an hour, but nothing showed. The guides figured the Ibex had bedded down on the backside of the ridge and decided it was time to make our move.
What happened? You saw them. I'm gonna sneak from the left. He spotted them. They're bedded up in that rock crown on that ridge, so we're gonna drop back on the backside of this ridge and sneak around and pop up on them.
Our guide carefully looked over the Ibex, but the big billies were nowhere to be found. And just as the group began to run off, we realized there were more Ibex we couldn't see in the rocks below us.
Out the bottom. Well, that didn't work out so well. We came down where we saw those Ibex. Sure enough, we weren't ready for it. Now from underneath us came 3 big Ibex. One of them is just outstanding, about a 45 plus incher. The other one's about a 42, and then a smaller one. So that wasn't so good. I couldn't get a shot.
Welcome back to the Altai Mountains of northern Mongolia. Before the break, I had a close encounter with some huge Ibex billies. We spent the rest of the day hiking in search of the 3 huge billies, and eventually caught up to them a few drainages over.
3 big Ibex went up over the top, so we were gonna come around, and he spotted one of them laying in this basin, so hopefully the other 2 are with him.
Unfortunately, they spotted us before we could close the distance and took off, never to be seen again. Other than a few blown stalks, an encounter with a Mongolian wolf, and a few interesting discoveries, things were fairly uneventful and frustration was beginning to build. It's the last morning of our Ibex hunt here in the Altai Mountains of Mongolia. We've located a band of Ibex bedded underneath a ridge in the distance. Let's pick things up as we make a last-ditch effort to put an Ibex on the ground.
I'm guessing they're right down below there. Of course, we don't really know what's going on, because I don't speak Mongolian. How far?
Still far, he says. Free is lying.
The language barrier tried to wreak havoc on me one last time as I got into position for the shot. The guide, who did speak some English, instructed me to shoot the one on the right as he pointed to the one on the left.
Right side. First one. Okay. Left side. Right side.
Right side.
Yeah. Left side. First one.
Eventually, we got things sorted out and I took aim at the billy furthest to the left.
Left side. First one. Okay.
First one on the left.
First one.
Facing us.
You see us.
Facing us.
See us.
Facing us. Ready to go. Yep.
Oh, good.
Finally.
We got one. We finally connected after 5 long days in Mongolia. It's been a real deal. We've had a lot of ups and downs on this hunt, but we finally connected with a really nice Ibex. He was the biggest one in the bunch. There's about 8 or 9 of them there, and they were just bedded. We got right up here and 330-yard shot right down, just like a high mountain mule deer. Well, this is the culmination of our Ibex experience. I'll tell you what, I couldn't be happier. I'm just completely elated. We hunted 5 hard, rugged, rough days here in the Altai Mountains in western Mongolia and just had a great experience. And it was tough and grueling, hunting 20 hours a day, little sleep, got sick during the hunt, up and down these hills nonstop, but it's a great time. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's everything that you would expect Mongolia to be. Remember, fair chase is the only way to hunt and take trophy big game. We'll see you next week right here on Eastmans Hunting TV.